I'm going to show you exactly how the VA is going to rate the new mental health rating criteria. This is when these changes will come down, not if, and yes, they are coming down. Let's jump straight into it. So this is the Federal Register, and this is the proposed criteria for mental health. We're going to scroll all the way down. All of this is a bunch of mumbo jumbo. You can read it if you want to, but scrolling down, you will find the general rating for mental health. And here it is, general rating formula for mental disorders. Exactly what we see in 38 CFR now, except for all of this stuff has changed. So there's going to be a 10, 30, 50, 70, and 100. So 0% is gone. That is a win in our book. And we're going to come back to how the VA is going to assign you a percentage, because we have to understand what these domains are and what the level within each domain means. And so there are 5 domains. You have cognition. The second domain is interpersonal interactions and relationships. The third domain is task completion and life activities. The fourth domain is navigating environments. And the fifth domain is self-care. And after the domain, it gets a little snippet of kind of, hey, here's how we are going to define the domains. And then, so looking at the domains, now let's look at the level of impairment. And it looks like it's going to be rated at 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. 0 being none, 1 is mild, 2 is moderate, 3 is severe, and then 4 is total. And there are percentages equated to this. Now, each domain has their own criteria for what that actually means. For instance, in cognition, we have no difficulties, mild, moderate, severe, total, just like the level of impairment, except for it gives a snippet of what moderate looks like. And there's something I want to point out in each of these domains. The moderate is clinically significant difficulties, which means that medical evidence, just like always, is going to come in clutch here from your providers. So get that evidence in, but it's looking at clinical significant difficulties in one or more aspects of cognitive function. Well, what is cognitive function? You go up to the domain, and it is limited or may include but not limited. So a little ambiguous from the VA. Okay, we're used to that. But the symptoms are memory, concentration, attention, goal setting, speed of processing information, planning, organizing, prioritizing, problem solving, judgment, making decisions, or flexibility in adapting when appropriate. And so, based on these symptoms, you are going to be assigned a level of impairment, if that's 0, 1, 2, or 3. Once you finish this portion of the exam up, they're going to go to number 2 and look at interpersonal interactions and relationships. And this includes both informal and formal. So your relationship with your spouse, your relationship with your children, and your relationship with your coworkers, your boss, whoever. And again, we have the level of impairment 0 to 4. And then each of the levels have their own snippet definition of what moderate looks like. Going down to number 3, we see task completion in life activities, may include but not limited to vocational, educational, domestic, social, or caregiving, right? So living your life. And then we see the level of impairment and the criteria. It's basically the same, so it's really, really easy to understand. If you're going to be given no difficulties, mild, moderate, severe, or total. Now, looking at navigating environments, this includes, but not limited to, that's my daughter, leaving the home, being confined in crowded spaces. So this could be going to the grocery store, going to a crowded area like a concert or anywhere else, independently moving in surroundings, navigating in new environments, driving or using public transportation. And again, the level of impairment remains the same, and the criteria basically remains the same. Okay, you can almost copy paste the criteria for each of these domains. And the last one is going to be self-care, which is looking at hygiene, dressing appropriately, and then taking nourishment, right? So dieting, taking showers, brushing your hair, wearing clothes that are somewhat appropriate, right? And I can already see it right now that someone on YouTube is going to recommend veterans go to their appointments in pajamas or something like that. That if you don't wear pajamas all day, every day, and you only wear that with the intent of this exam, that is what they call fraud, and you want to be aware of that. Okay, so disregard any advice coming down that says that. But looking at how self-care is evaluated, it's just like everything else. So we have 0 to 4, then we have no difficulties, mild, moderate, with a little snippet of what that actually means, severe, and then total. So each of these 5 criteria is going to be weighted. Okay, so let's say you have 1 for cognitive domain, you have a 2 for interpersonal. Let's say you have a 2 for task completion, but you have a 3 for navigating environments, and you have a 3 for self-care. So we have a 1, a 2, a 2, a 3, and a 3. And if that's the case, going back up to how the VA is going to assign a rating, remember, we have a level 1, right? So boom, we're at 30%. Well, we also have a level 2, so that automatically puts us at 50. But we have a level 3 and a level 2 automatically because we have a 1, a 2, a 2, a 3, and a 3. And since we have a 3 and a 2, that puts us at 70. But wait, if we are level 4 in 1 or more domains, which we aren't according to this made-up scenario, but we have 2 level 3s, that's going to give you 100%. I firmly believe that the VA got this right. Now, something that we can't see is the comments from made from February to April of 22. And so this could change, but looking at the criteria as of how I'm reading it, I do believe it's going to be easier to get rated at a higher scale, right? So if you're 50, you can probably put in for an increase for 70, generally speaking. And then that 100% criteria may be easier. And that's also going to open up the road for SMCs later on.